Welcome to Mind Your Autistic Brain. This week, I am joined by Dr. Ali Arena, who is my coaching partner for Coaching Cafe and the Coaching Cafe Academy. The doors are open this week, guys, and we're so excited to throw them open and invite you in and say, welcome, come join us. We have an amazing welcome party event for everyone that joins this month as we're getting started. And we want to make sure that we go behind the scenes and share exactly what Coaching Cafe Academy is all about. Hi, I'm Carol Jean, founder and host of Mind Your Autistic Brain talk show and community. And you're about to experience the new way to thrive in life and relationships as a late identified autistic by unveiling who you are, how you communicate, finding your self-care plan from the inside out, and being the authentic creator of your best life. Get ready, because this is where we go against the mainstream, say no to outdated society norms, and we say yes to who we are in order to create a joy-filled, balanced, and more neurodistinct world. Welcome to Mind Your Autistic Brain. Welcome to the show, Ali.
Thank you so much for having me.
I love that we're talking all about our academy today because, we opened the doors Monday on February the 14th, and we've created a very unique methodology, and it's called the communication ecosystem. And it's all about communication, relationships, and our values and boundaries, because these are all the components that factor into what it is to have a relationship with yourself, relationship with others, and also those de-escalation protocols, because we all run across a few prickly pears in our life, don't we?
Absolutely. And I love this because it's kind of all the stuff that you get taught in therapy, or if you read a book, or whatever you're going to for kind of support, but it's wrapped together. And it's taught by two people who have lived a lot of it. And there's really sharing experiences that could be helpful.
Absolutely. And we have a framework because, the ADHD side wants the novelty. So we've got some great novelty. We've got some super dopamine hits throughout this 6-month live course. So we have a different shift every week for each of our monthly topics. So our topics are broken, and the framework looks like this, guys. So the first week is the training week. This is where you get your actionable tools. This is where you're learning something new, going a little bit deeper. Then week 2, we have what's called Rubber Meets the Road. This is where Ali and I are going to give you a question, a step, an action to take to start trying out what you learned in week 1. We take it slowly. We don't dump it all on you and then start pouring things in. We give you a week to watch it, rewatch it, digest it, because this is created for us by us. This isn't one of those really high intense things that I know I've experienced from some neurotypical courses. It's a little overwhelming sometimes. And Ali, you're a big course taker too. Have you had that experience?
100%. Kara, I buy courses and then they die slowly because they kind of sit in the graveyard of started courses. So I'm definitely a person that needs about them.
I'm the same way. And if I know that every day this week of the month, like every Monday, something happens and it's just one little step that feels manageable to me, I'm so much more apt to do it. So that's how we have set this up. So the very first week, you get your training video, and that you can watch and rewatch. It's broken down so that there's little actionable parts in there to consume it and take it in slowly and easily. Then you do that for the first week. You do it at your pace. Week 2, we roll out the Rubber Meets the Road. And this is your action step. This is for you to start getting that momentum and get moving with what you've learned, because we can read something and we have understanding, but we don't have knowing till we start to experience it. Also, with the knowing, the good part about this is this helps you identify where your resistance point might be, where you might be a little confused and not understand something. This might also help you bring up some of the roadblocks or challenges that you might be facing with this topic And the beautiful part is week 3 is all about uncovering and identifying what those roadblocks are. And at the end of that week 3, we have a live question and answer coaching session with Allie and I. And I love this because Allie had the brilliant idea. She said, we could also break down into smaller groups based on who's having what challenge with what aspect of what we're doing so that we can really go deep and target that. So you guys are getting that too. Allie, you were genius on that one.
Well, and I just think, thank you, by the way, but I really benefit too from hearing what's happening with other people. Like from it really I'm an example person. Like, so if someone else brings up something that's difficult for them, I tend to go, oh, I do that, but I wouldn't have called it that, or I didn't see that as something that could affect maybe my relationship. So I just think the ability to talk things out and coach in real time is so effective.
I 100% agree. And because that is something that really impacts me as well. So we'll start with our small group. We'll do a breakout. We'll go into some smaller rooms and help go a little bit deeper on where people are having specific challenges. We'll come back together, kind of revisit. And this is going to be recorded so that you can watch both rooms, so that you can watch the recordings from both sides, because we may have solved this problem and you may come across something maybe somebody in the other room was talking about. And so we want to make sure that you've got access to all these things and we're sharing, because one of the biggest aspects to learning is that we do not learn and grow in isolation. And having community is really important. And one of the things that Allie and I were both pretty adamant about is we both said, Facebook groups can be a little much. The feed, things get lost. You can't keep up with it. You don't know what's happening. So I was like, yes, I totally agree. And I put on my thinking hat and I got super creative. So guys, for Coaching Cafe Academy, we have a private Instagram page only for members. And it is so much easier and cleaner to look at a whole feed on a profile, pick the image that matches up, or that you can read the text and you're like, that's the topic, that's the thing we're talking about, that's what I need to talk about or ask a question. And that's our community support area. Because in the comment section in Instagram, it's so much easier to communicate, see what else somebody else has said, and things don't disappear and get lost like they do on other platforms. So we're really excited to have that as part of our community aspect, to do it a little differently.
Because, Carol, Jean and I sat down probably in November and started thinking like, okay, what intentions do we have for the new year? And both of us really thought community, because even when we found each other as friends, it was just so nice to have someone. I went away this past weekend. I was sort of, venting a little bit about how like being in a house with people and all these sounds and stuff. And like Carol Jean just got that. And maybe other people in my life, they might not have understood why that could be difficult at times. So we're really looking forward to people having a place where they can talk about things, hopefully meeting people they want to talk with even outside of the community, right? And just continue to make more connection.
And that is such an important part of what's built into the way we structured Coaching Cafe Academy. Because not only are you going to be learning and getting trainings from the actually autistic and ADHD perspective, because Allie and I are both, I'm autistic and ADHD, Allie's ADHD, we're both late identified. So we bring a lot to the party, and we're excited to have this party and these conversations with you guys, because there's so many things that it's not all about just one perspective. We're here to share mutual perspectives, not just ours, but you to share yours as well. Your voice matters, and how you've experienced life and what you're experiencing in your communication, in your relationships, in your life, in your values, your boundaries, how we're navigating this. In our founding members group that we did back in October and November, we had so many huge breakthroughs, so many ahas from our Coaching Cafe members that has really been amazing, because we're getting now, after Christmas and the first of the year, people are coming back, and we had a big get together with all of our members, and everybody was sharing, oh my gosh, the things that I learned in Coaching Cafe, the things that I learned about myself when it came to communication styles, when it came to time boundaries, even like the de-escalation was a lifesaver. It has been a game changer. It has been one of the biggest things in my late identified life. And we want to make sure that you guys are getting that too.
Right. It doesn't need to be the secret that we're keeping. I remember someone had said, like, I had never even realized that, like, I was allowed to choose to not do an activity because it doesn't feel good, which I was totally there a few years ago. Like, I didn't even realize that I had that autonomy or that I could self-manage in that way, right? So like little moments like that are so beautiful because it sparks other people to think about it. And it also just is a reminder, maybe you are in a place where you have really good time boundaries, but it's a nice reminder to be like, oh yeah, I've come really far. And like, this is something that I still need to make sure I'm managing and thinking about it. So that's what I really love about this is it's a place where we're just going to be talking about like what's real and what's really difficult at times and ways to manage.
That's a huge part. The accommodations that we give extend to ourselves, how we identify those and what our needs are in those, because those are some of the biggest things that we start to address. It's a little easier on the external side to identify an accommodation or something that we need in our life. But it's that internal one that's a little bit harder. And that's one of the things that we definitely will be talking about and really helping people find and identify within themselves. What are the needs that I have? And how can I help recognize them, identify them, and then incorporate them into my internal thinking about what I do in my life, what I do in my relationships, and what I say no to. And Allie and I was even telling Allie this morning, I need to borrow her no post-it. Because that's one of the things. Sometimes we get in people pleasing mode. We get excited about something. We want to do it. And we do that energy check. We do. And we're like, I got the energy for that. And then things change and it may require a little more energy than you thought. And you're like, where's that no post-it? Because maybe I need to engage it.
I don't have that energy anymore. I think too, it's also just really nice. Like, let's say you do say no to someone and it's not the greatest reaction. You now have a place to go and sort of just talk it out and see if there was any different way to go about saying no, if the reaction just kind of really had nothing to do with you, but a place to talk it out, because they seem little, and I'm using quotation marks if people can't see that, but they seem little and small, but they're huge steps that when you start taking them, you want support around.
Yes. And that is exactly what we're going to be giving. And every month we have one of the topics from our 5 elements. And we actually broke this into 6 months because boundaries has 7 areas. So we are going to break boundaries into 2 months with values. And we're putting those in a place because we want to have time to really go deep on these, to really help you craft these boundaries in your life. And this is one of the places where it is really critical to have that support, to have a place to go ask, to say, hey, I tried this and this didn't feel comfortable. This didn't work the way I thought it was. What's something maybe I haven't thought about, or this really worked well. And I want to share this so somebody else can try it, because this might be exactly what the person next to you might be looking for. And they just haven't seen the solution for themselves yet. And you solve the problem. And one of the things that's really wonderful is in that week 4, we'll be rotating out those guest masterminds. And we have, of course, Mona Kay, the fabulous Mona Kay from Neurodiverse Love. And in April, we're going to be talking all about neurodiverse relationships. We have a mixed neurotype relationship. How do we navigate that? How do we start to heal some of those old and deep wounds from when we didn't know we were autistic or ADHD, and how that has impacted our relationship with our partner? And we're going to also talk about, hey, in that, if you're both this similar neurotype, or maybe one of you is autistic and one of you is autistic and ADHD, how do those neurotypes play and talk together, in the communication style differences sometimes that move into that. So that is going to be a fantastic mastermind. Then we also have one coming up in the summer where we have autistics that are coming in specifically to share on being single and dating, and how we look at communication, online dating platforms. And we're going to be diving into all the aspects of single and dating, and where that comes into our life as well. Because, even if you're in a relationship right now, that doesn't mean that at some point you may be moving in a different direction, or maybe you're just coming out of a relationship. We've got some people that I know, or I've talked to, are going to be joining the group, that are moving out of relationships and moving into the dating world after being together with their partner for a few years. So we're making sure we're covering all the bases here to make sure you guys have a place to get resources. And in that week 4, we're also going to be doing a one-on-one coaching session with somebody that has either had a really big success or has maybe had some roadblocks. And we're going to help you work through those, and we're going to talk through them. And that's going to be available for the whole group to watch and participate, because one of the things that Allie and I have learned personally and within our own coaching and practices with clients is that one of the biggest learning points is when we can really listen to and engage with how someone else has been going through something, how the roadblocks that somebody else has come across, and how they've solved them or navigated them to help us do those same things in our life.
Absolutely. And it's so wonderful when you see someone present a problem, and then you have these two people like Carol Jean and I kind of putting on our coaching hats and being like, okay, I would do this. But then you're going to have other people in the group that are going to be like, well, wait, actually, this really worked for me. And then it's a very nice collaborative discussion. And I was thinking, Carol G, when you were talking about relationships and being single or entering a relationship, all of these skills too are also going to apply in a friendship, in maybe like a parent child dynamic, right? It's all about figuring out how your brain works, how the person you're talking with, how their brain operates, and what's this in between that we need to figure out so we can communicate more effectively.
Yes. And that was the reason that you and I really wanted to create the academy and to do it in this format, in this way, because there's so often that we think we read something, we understand it, it makes sense to us, we can follow the steps, A, B, C, D, but we both have experienced this. And I know that so many people experience this in the learning process and in the incorporation process into our lives, when we are changing habits and starting and learning and expanding our mind in new areas. And it's what we call slips and surges. And we have those. We have those points where we're like, oh, I got it. And then you're just like, oh man, I don't got it. I don't know what happened. And I don't know who to ask to figure this out. And that was one of the things that was really important to you and I, was to make sure that there's a place for people to ask these questions, that you're not doing this, self-paced all by yourself. This is like deeply engaging. And not only that, but we have things that are going to help you move through the process, to try it out in a way that's not overwhelming, that's not confrontational, that doesn't feel like I have to. I can try it if I want to, and I can try it when I feel ready and I'm comfortable, because we're there to encourage you. Because one of the things that we also rotate out in week 4 is a member spotlight. And we'll be highlighting a member each month who's had a really big success, who's had something that they want to share, who's experienced something that has really profoundly changed their life within that topic and what we've done that month. And we're going to be sharing that. We're going to be highlighting and showcasing those aspects, because that's one of the things that, emotional contagion. And when we see someone else succeeding, it really helps encourage us and to celebrate with other people. Because how often does somebody celebrate when you've changed a habit? How often does somebody celebrate when you've changed something that you believed and it's made a difference in your life?
Never, never. And the thing is, we often don't celebrate ourselves. And also, sometimes the habits, again, that we might be changing or doing seem really duh to other people. Like this is full vulnerability and transparency. I just started putting a toothbrush and toothpaste in the shower because I was like, wait, I'm not brushing my teeth in the morning because I start with coffee and then I just get into, but I work out a lot in the middle of the day. So I'm going to brush my teeth in the shower. Maybe someone else would have figured that out really quickly. That took me like all of pandemic. And I was so proud of myself. I told my husband that, and he was like, you weren't brushing your teeth. Like, that's what he took from that. And I was like, no, I'm telling you, this is like a big win for me. So again, being able to celebrate people.
I am celebrating because that is huge.
Thank
It's
you.
so funny. That's huge. That's awesome. Because I struggle with the same thing. I
Right. Yes.
do. I struggle with the same thing. And it's like I have to like try and figure out, okay, so sometime around lunch, I go brush my teeth finally. Because by the time I get up in the morning, I have my coffee, get my day going and everything, I'm like, oh crud. Because I don't want to brush my teeth first thing in the morning. It's a sensory thing. Josh
Like,
actually brushes his teeth and does the shower thing because he was like, I have a 7-minute window because I like to sleep as late as I can
smart.
to do in the morning to get ready.
And Sebastian just wakes up and brushes his teeth. But I also think he's up after me. So it's not like he's worried about like disrupting me. And he's a habit guy. So I have a feeling he's literally been doing that since he brushed his teeth independently. And that's,
Since he was in footy onesies
yeah,
and
yeah,
learned
yeah.
to stand on the little stool and brush his teeth,
Yeah,
he's been
like
doing it.
what he's done. Apparently that habit didn't click for me like that yet because I normally have like 2 cups of coffee and that gradually goes into the morning. And then I'm on with like a client and I don't want that like that feeling on, you know exactly what I mean, that like minty, like I'm just like, oh yes. So it's a small win, but it was very big for me.
You know, one of the I had a thing with the minty toothpaste because sometimes it can be hot and like burns my mouth. I actually found Crest makes a cinnamon toothpaste and it's not like spicy hot cinnamon, it's just like a little bit. And I can do that so much better. It doesn't make my stomach feel bad or my mouth burn.
That's interesting. I actually found a lavender one. Look at this. Now we're selling toothpaste.
Ooh, lavender. Okay, I could totally go for that.
I'll send you a picture. I'm pretty into it. It's very calming.
Okay, so now we've got a little bit of the
Yep.
essential oils and all the
Yes.
things going
Yes.
on. So, look, guys, you're going to get all kinds of stuff in the Coaching Cafe Academy from Allie and I. You're going to get toothpaste tips, you're going to get hacks and tips and things that we do within our own life, but you're going to get real rubber meets the road space to have real conversations, real things that make a difference in our neurodistinct life because we don't communicate the same way as the rest of the world. Hey, gee, that's a big component of our brain type. We have different relationship types because our communication can change during shutdowns, meltdowns, and burnout. That in fact impacts our relationship types that we experience. And being able to recognize and identify what the communication styles are that we're using and experiencing for ourselves and that of other people, how those shape and factor into our relationship types. And then, guys, how to take maybe one of those relationship types that's not really serving and working for you and being able to identify, hey, is this one we can move and shift into an authentic connection relationship with this person? Because that's absolutely possible. And that's something nobody tells you. Nobody says, hey, this is possible just because this might not be functioning and working right now. You both love each other. You care about each other. You're really good friends. You know, all the things are there. You guys are just missing maybe one or two little things that will shift all of that into that authentic connection relationship where you're now connecting and sharing in a unique, honest, open, vulnerable, and thriving way where you're supporting and seeing one another. And that's really the blessing in that.
And that's what we want for all of the members of the academy. Like that's really what, so it's not like you're going to graduate with a diploma or something, because I know sometimes academy can feel like it's more that we just want you leaving with skills that could lead to more authentic connections and also an authentic connection with yourself. We are going to be talking about yourself a lot, right? And what it looks like to figure out what's of value to you. What are your beliefs? Are you acting in these ways? We're going to look at that a lot because so much of how relationships work has to do with us. And I feel like we're typically taught more about like pleasing another person or doing this to make the relationship greater or make yourself really pretty. And then the relationship will be like, it's a lot about like maybe changing yourself externally, but so much of it is internal work, like Carol Jean was saying initially, and it really does lead to beautiful, connected, authentic relationships.
It does. And one of those things that we will be covering in the last two areas is our boundaries. And I know for most of us, and when I put the question out there, hey, did you guys grow up talking about boundaries? Do you have a concept of what boundaries are? Did you know there's 7 of these? like almost everyone, the exact response, same one I had was, no. And what are they? Because I didn't know anything about it. Like, yes, following what your parents told you to do, that was the boundary, right? Like those were the rules. But when we're talking about boundaries, there's something so much more than that. And especially in late identified life, these are the things that really make a difference when it comes to your energy management. And we talk about energy management a lot in Mind Your Autistic Brain because energy is not created, it is always exchanged. It's either given or received. And most of the time in late identified life, we have lived for decades giving and not receiving, not opening up and bringing it in. So, a lot of the things we're also going to be talking about is how to incorporate and balance your inflow and outflow of energy. We're going to be talking about some really amazing principles. We're going to be talking about some things that are going to change your life from the inside out in ways that you've maybe never thought of before. And we're also going to be taking those boundaries and we're going to be helping you with the conversations when you start to put them into practice in your life. Because sometimes that's one of the scariest parts is, okay, I've created this boundary because this is something I really, really need and make a big difference in my life. But I'm scared and I don't know how to communicate this with another person. And so we're going to be helping you do that. And that's one of the places where those live coaching sessions are going to make a huge difference.
I love that. And even just this morning before we hopped on, Carol Jean and I were talking about energy management because I was saying to her, I was like, I'm just, ugh. And then she was kind of like, do you feel like it's because we talk weekly. So she's aware of what I've been doing. And she's like, do you think you're putting a little too much energy out without receiving? And I'm like, yeah, it does. It's, and we were talking about how sometimes you try to make it something bigger. Like I'm like, oh, maybe it's sick. Maybe I'm sick, or maybe it's mental health, or maybe it really is just, I simply wasn't taking enough time to receive energy and kind of focus on me. So, we're going to be talking about that. And I just wanted to give that example because it's a lifelong thing. Like I know that very well cognitively. I teach people that, and I even needed a little bit of a reminder. So that's why the community part is so important, that you have people around to just kind of give you, Carol Jean and I are both saying we don't love the word accountability because there's a part of me that gets triggered and I'm like, oh, I don't want to be told what to do. However, I do need some form of external something to remind me to do things, to keep me, I mean, really, it's accountable, to just keep me aware of what's going on. And that is something, I know you're going to go into this, but that this community also provides.
I think I just found our word because accountability just doesn't sit with me. What if we call it the check-in?
Yeah, I like that. It's the check-in. Yeah.
Like the check-in or the touch point.
Yeah, I also like touch point. Oh, yeah, I really like that. Because the truth is, as much as I resist against checkpoints, I do need them because my brain will just go off and then totally forget that there was a checkpoint at any point. So I do need an external checkpoint.
I like touch point though. I think that's going to be it. I think that might be it. The touch point.
I like it. The touch point.
Yeah.
And it's just,
that's our hand holding. That's our, hey, just
yeah,
like a pat on the shoulder to see, hey, how are you doing?
We just want to be the person. Yeah, exactly. Just checking in, touching base. Because, we're going to learn throughout this, the stuff that matters to you and what you might need for us to be touching base on. I know, Carol Jean, you had brought up the reason like Noom is so successful. And a lot of those, I think even Weight Watchers does this now. There's a coach and they call it accountability, but they're checking in with you fairly often, or you might have to show something, right? So you might have to show like a log of what you ate, or we're not going to do that, but I'm just see how that, yeah. But I can see where that might really benefit someone because it just keeps you on track. So we think that's a big, important part of also being in the membership, having touch bases.
Yeah, we really do. Because that's something that I know has been really helpful to me because I will go so fast. I will like blow through something and I've learned to do this, to slow down, to go back, to kind of like reevaluate, look at something and sharing different perspectives. I mean, I have one perspective. There are multiple perspectives in the world.
Mhm.
And when we get together and we start sharing how we see something and what perspective and what lens we're looking at something through, man, that creates incredible aha moments for all the people that are having the conversation, not just one person. And sometimes it's just you say something in a way that that one person really needed to hear.
Yeah.
We might be saying the same thing, but you know what? One person's going to say it a little bit differently. And that's the thing that connects. And that's what we're looking to create is not just support, not just information, but we're looking for connection and we're looking for meeting you where you are so that you are getting the connection that you need.
Yeah.
Not what we need, but what you need.
Yes.
So guys, the doors are open. Coaching Cafe Academy is accepting members. We are here. We have a fantastic welcome party where we're going to get on Zoom and we're going to meet each other and we're going to really start building our community foundation. Everything when you join, you've got this whole first section that just basically welcomes you, tells you what to expect. We have some frequently asked questions there. We have contact information. We are giving you all this stuff so you know what's happening, you know what to expect. We're there with a touch point throughout the entire thing. And we kick off and start our very first topic the first week of March. And we are starting with communication styles. So we're really excited. Be sure you come join us. Allie, what is your big, exciting thing as we're moving into communication styles? Because this is your jam.
Gosh. Well, I mean, I just love this. What I'm currently working on is, like I was talking about with examples, I am finding ways to give you people in real life that are showing a communication style, maybe like a celebrity, like an anime character that I'm like, ooh, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Because I think that just I realize how much that helps me. So I'm adding that in right now. So I'm super excited to talk about that.
I am too. This is I'm all about the examples. It's like, can we find some video clips where I could see it happening in real time, in real life between two people? Because you can see it and you can feel it, you can hear it, and it makes a total difference because you're like, now I can pick out that communication style because I've seen it.
Exactly.
Guys, the link is below. Make sure you go click over there. This is the most incredible bargain. It is an amazing opportunity to get one-on-one coaching, to get community, to get help. And it's only $57 a month. You can't beat that. There is nothing out there like this. We've looked, we've made sure that this was something that really provides tremendous value. And you are getting thousands and thousands of dollars worth of value in what you're getting, only $57. So go join, go get in there, and we'll see you at the party. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hi, my name is Carol Jane Whittington, and I am one half of the Coaching Cafe Academy team, along with my coaching partner, the amazing Allie Arena. And we want you to join us in this life-changing community coaching experience. This is the first neurodistinct program of its kind, designed with autistic and ADHD brains in mind, because Allie and I are neurodistinct. We have opened the doors to the brand new Coaching Cafe Academy, and they will only be open for a few weeks. We want you to be a founding member. The Coaching Cafe Academy is the perfect neurodistinct home for anyone looking to learn from and with people who speak the same neuro language and where we all understand one another's perspectives. If you are looking to leave behind the tips, tricks, and empty promises of neurotypical communication and relationship experts and ready to enter the real world of the neurodiverse communication ecosystem for neurodistinct humans, where translation of neurotypical and neurodistinct communication becomes a clear language, where all neurotypes are seen, heard, respected, and understood, then this is your home. Enter the home of authentic connection. This isn't just a course, it is a central community of authentic autistic and ADHD connection that is warm, vibrant, and full of kind, gentle, and patient people just like you. Allie and I are fully involved, totally hands-on, giving support and guidance every step of the way. Take some time to read below and discover just how the Academy can help you to have the best year of your life. We are here to help. Why not start 2022 in the best way possible? Join us in the Coaching Cafe Academy, and we will continue this amazing journey together.
If you are someone who likes to help people, and share what has made a difference in your life. Please share this talk show with a friend and on your social media accounts so that you can be the blessing in another late identified autistic's life. Be sure to tag me at Social Autie so I can personally say thank you. And to help keep the talk show ad-free, please consider becoming a one-time or recurring supporter through either Buy Me a Coffee or the Anchor podcast links in the show notes below. I truly appreciate your support. Thank you for being a listener, and thank you for adding your voice to our story.